kids.
All right.
Oh, no. Well,
Time
the problem
be-
is you can lose your phone.
The time being 6:30 on March 20th, 2025. I call the Ashland Planning Board meeting to order. If we could stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. It's over here. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. So, roll call. We are missing a few members tonight, so all three alternates I am moving up to full members.
I'm not an alternate anymore.
No, she's not.
Oh, no one had informed me of that.
Oh, you're now a member.
I submitted the application after you sent out the notice that
approved
we
it
would need new
Monday.
people, so I sent it on
No,
Friday.
no one had told me, my apologies.
Not a problem, but no,
Okay.
I followed up on that note
Yep.
from you and submitted the request to be a
Okay.
permanent member.
In which case, you didn't appoint anyone else, did you?
We did not. We didn't get Bethany's until after the meeting.
Okay.
Sorry.
In which case, I will appoint these two as full voting members
For tonight.
for tonight only. And for roll call, Linda Barnes.
I don't know, I feel
Present.
like we should be combined.
Selectmen's Rep Andy,
Here.
Donna,
Yes.
and Bethany.
Yep.
And I am Kendall Hughes. Tricia is absent, as she had told us last month she would be. And Mardine well, actually, you'd be taking Mardine's place, right?
Does that mean also zoning board rep and,
No, we have to talk about that later.
okay.
So
gonna say-
Mardine and Paula Hancock have resigned from the board. So we are still looking for one more rep person. Okay. Minutes of March 6th. Have you guys had a chance to peruse them?
Yep.
And do I have any questions, concerns, or alterations? Or motion?
I have a couple of notes.
Okay?
On line 27, it reads, "The town manager received duplicate plans," and "conducting" is one word, and I'm not sure what that means. Does
Right.
anybody remember?
And
Duplicate plans, was it like about conducting, duplicate plan? I just didn't know.
He's going to be conducting a 30-day
Yeah.
review of
Okay,
those
and would
plans.
be,
is conducting.
Is,
Yeah,
okay.
it is, not in.
okay. So that was one.
So that's just a typo.
Yeah, this is just a typo.
Okay. Then on, I think it's page 3, the pages aren't numbered, but line 98, Don Stepp asked if a waiver for the road width requires, it says a variable, I think it means, I think it should be variance.
Yep.
Yeah, okay.
Which line is that?
That's line
98.
98. It says a variable, and I think that
Yep,
may have just been.
it's a variance.
Yeah. Then on line 108, it says Harry Ashland Electric. I'm assuming it should be Harry Gallien, Gallien.
Yes. Gallon.
No, it's IEN.
Is it?
I checked, yeah.
Okay. Sorry, I guess I've been misspelling it for a while.
Well, it may be how he says it, you know. Then on the next page, line 135, same issue, should be Harry Gallien. Then 141 and 147, I'm assuming she put Rich Grinley, because that's how she knows. Should it be Richard, or does it not matter?
Doesn't matter.
Okay.
Right. Then 159, just, this does not need to change the minutes, but Cara LaSalle confirmed that all environmental reports have been submitted and are available on the DES website. I looked, I couldn't find anything.
I couldn't either, and I thought that to be intriguing.
DES website is pretty tough to get around in.
Yeah, well, I ran a
I
search.
thought she confirmed that she would be.
I thought she said they had been submitted and
I-
are available.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was,
Yeah,
I
so
think
this
she was
this
pretty-
doesn't need to be changed,
No.
this is sort of a footnote, that I did a search for Mill Pond throughout the whole DES website, and I searched Ashland,
I did too.
and nothing
Nothing
came up.
showed up.
Okay, so, all right, that's just a sidebar. Then line 200. The grammar on the 200 and 201 wasn't quite clear to me. Tony Guyat asked Kevin Leonard whether Mill Pond Associates had made him aware of a survey completed by the property owners which reports dumps on the property.
That is correct.
That is correct, okay.
You could add sites
Yeah.
to behind
dump
dumps,
sites
but,
on the property.
Oh, instead of reports?
no,
Nope.
where it says dumps,
Put sites.
insert
after.
sites. So it says dump sites.
Oh, okay, got it, thank you. And then 238, on the last page, Frank from Mill Pond Habitat. I don't know what his last name is, but I'm assuming he has one.
I'm assuming he does too, but to be honest, I only know him as Frank.
Okay, that's probably something I can check.
Yep,
And will you tell Jane about this?
I will attempt to, yes.
Okay, well, I have,
Yeah, I'm gonna have to get with you afterwards.
Okay.
Okay.
yeah.
All right. Anybody have anything else on these? Do I have a motion?
Can I motion to accept the minutes?
I have a motion to accept the minutes. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a second. All those, Bethany moved the motion. Linda made the second. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
I'll abstain.
One abstention. Okay. Motion passes. All righty. We don't have any presentations tonight, or we'll delay on that anyways. And we'll let Commerce Properties do this. I am going to step down for this because my company that I work for also works for Commerce Properties. So do I have a person who would take the chair for the moment?
I'll need coaching, but I'm willing
I'd
to.
be happy to coach you. I'm sure Andy can coach you as well. So
So you're abstaining.
so I am abstaining from this. We do not receive any money, well, I do not receive any money from this,
Yeah,
but my company and my sister do.
Yeah, okay. By the way, Frank's last name is McLean.
Okay.
McClain.
So you just have him do his presentation.
Okay.
All right, I'm Anthony Guyette, I'm here for Commerce Properties. We were here prior before getting approvals to expand the development we're working on, and the question I have right now is on unit K and L. There's the first right box, just so you guys can all be on the same page.
Do you want one for your files anyway?
You have it all on file.
I know we
This
do.
is just a scaled down version
Appreciate
of
it.
it.
Just want to-
But I'm gonna need one just for now.
That's fine.
But I have an extra one.
Okay, thank you.
So, as you can see, we had some utilities drawn in here by Chris Randall when we did this, and we neglected to see that he had put existing to be removed. The issue we're having is this first power pole coming off the street's been replaced 3 times. And originally, when we started this project, we had a gentleman named Rob from the power company that was heading up, I believe, from the co-op advising. And the pole was originally supposed to be put off to the left of the deck of 10 Winter Street. So we had a straight shot in there. And somehow when they came, and I have a picture here for you guys to get a visual of it. So these are the two the same, that's one. We'll have to pass them around unfortunately, because I think I only have 3 of each
All right,
one.
I can share.
Let me make sure I'm giving you all a different picture. That's the one with the meter. This is the house.
We have the house here.
You have the house there as well. This is just 2 different angles of the same pole, basically. So on the map, when we're looking at utilities, existing utilities to be removed, you're looking at the pole that has, the area that has 3 poles in it currently, right there. And after discussing it with the owner of Commerce Properties, what we went through to get all this, just to get to this point, was like pulling teeth. And I suggested that if we're not gonna change the square footage, maybe we could just take Unit L and put it on top of Unit K. Same square footage, smaller footprint on the property. And I don't know, you can't see in any of the pictures here, but to the right of these poles where there's or just to the right of that car, there's a 2-story apartment already there. That is almost the exact same footprint and similar to what this would look like. So we thought by doing that, this apartment and this apartment unit would look similar. So aesthetically, it's still gonna look fine to what we were looking for down there. But what it's gonna cause us not to have to do is have to go through all this to be removed, to be put over there. After this took quite a process to get done. And wasn't just because there was no one at the town that was in charge per se, but when you try to coordinate it with the telephone company and the cable company, this is 4 years of arguing with the cable company, and I still have 3 poles on the premises that I can't get removed until the cable company moves that one line. So you
We've
see,
only been trying for 6 years to get them on to the new poles on North Ashland Road that have been there 20 years.
I don't want to go deep into this, but let's just say in my cell phone I have a name of a lady in charge of this part of the cable company, and she's a friend of my sister's, and even with direct contact with the person in charge, it's not working as well as we'd hope. So I don't, the Ashland Electric Company is very easy to work with compared to everybody else that's involved in moving a pole. So in order to stay on the timeline, that's what we have come up with. We were just simply trying to ask that rather than do the same building to match these, we try to match something like the one that's going to be basically adjacent to it, a little diagonal, and put one apartment as opposed to doing a duplex side by side, just a duplex up and down. That's really all we're after at this point. And I think it's just it'll take care of a whole lot of headaches that would set me back probably till the end of the year.
Kendall?
I have had a conversation with the
Sorry.
building inspector and the fire chief, and they both are in agreement with doing this.
Yeah, I've spoken with Tom. I haven't spoken with the fire chief. Soon to be ex I saw today. Retirement party, yay.
Not X.
Well, and it sounds like you thought about keeping consistent with the existing
Yeah,
sort of
it-
height, and it's gonna allow more
It'll
room
be
for
shorter than that
landscaping.
adjacent building
Yeah.
to the right that I'm talking about. I didn't get it in the picture, but it's gonna be a lower profile than that one. Cause that's more of almost a 3-story section really when the time you look at it. But it just didn't make sense to try to backtrack with all this power to move over there, especially this particular transformer on the pole is not only feeding the primary through to me, but they backfed from this pole back to the pole that started the whole problem, which is the one across from Winter Street that you see in the photo that doesn't show a meter. That one all the way across Winter Street, that meter, that power goes back to that and down to the other house. So I'm looking at shutting down quite a few homes just to move a pole, and there's no real easy way to swing it over rather than to just take it all, put a new system in and take that out, and we've already paid for everything there once, and it didn't seem cost effective. So
Seems really onerous to have to do all of that. And it sounds like you're gonna have more room for landscaping, so if anything, it'll
and
be more attractive.
It'll free up basically a 28 by 30 space on the ground as well in there. So, I mean, we're not really encroaching on the square footage of the use of the property, but after discussing it with the owner of the project, he was perfectly in agreement. He says, I understand that. So that's just, it didn't seem to make sense
Yeah.
to try to get everything moved in time to make it, to stay there. I mean, if I'm not gonna be there for a year, I need to start pulling stuff out of there and finishing, so it just,
Yeah.
in order to be continuously building.
So, questions, points of discussion?
I'm fine.
Makes sense to me.
So, do we need to take a roll call vote?
All right, just a motion.
I do have one question. Has this application been accepted?
Yes.
Complete?
Oh,
This is a modification of
Yeah,
the
it's a
existing
modification,
application from 2 years ago?
I'm close to 2 years now, I think.
Yeah.
3, isn't it?
It might be 3.
COVID
It's been a while. I've lost
It's
track.
been,
I've
it's
there
been
too
a
long.
while.
I'm so used to building these little ranch style duplexes that I can do it myself.
You probably do need to accept the modification though as complete.
Okay, so do we need a motion for that? Okay.
I'll make a motion that we accept the modification to tax map and lot 17-5-8.
Okay, do I have a second?
I second it.
Okay. All right, so do we say all in favor? Kendall, do I do an all in favor?
Yes.
Okay, yes, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, so we have a unanimous with one, actually, we have 4 in favor, 1 abstention. Is that right?
I've recused myself, so
Or
it's
one,
just.
sorry, 1
just
recusal,
four.
thank you, sorry. Okay, so,
I'm just giving
Looks like
Sam a
you're
little flight
good.
of stairs to walk up in the future.
all right,
So we need to make a motion to approve, correct? I'll make a motion to approve the change that will put K on top of L in this tax map and lot 17-5-8.
can I second? Okay, second. And then, all in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay, then aye, so that's 4 in favor, 1 recusal. Okay, passes.
You just need to get the building
Yeah,
inspector's signature.
I'll get it.
Congratulations.
I'll get it.
And
Thank you.
Jane will send a notice to you saying that you're all set.
She will? Alrighty. And, are we on a, there was a gray area with Tom when I asked for the building permit for this already, and, well, this should take care of that for him, then I would hope.
Yeah.
I would think so.
Yeah.
Alright.
Yes.
He
Yeah,
wasn't
so
sure,
there-
because he was new. He just started. I said, I gotta get another building.
Oh,
permit
he's
going.
he's got some under his belt right now.
Yeah.
So,
He
yeah,
was
no,
like,
that-
I'm not up to speed, I'm not sure. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, that was a while ago.
That was a while ago,
That's,
so.
no,
Alright.
no,
Alright, thank you for your time.
thank you.
I appreciate it.
Have a good night.
Okay.
Lot quicker meeting than that fellow's gonna have.
Do you need this back, Tony?
I don't, but I'll take it just in case.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right,
I hand the chair
thank you,
back.
thank you. All right, so, we've had, the next is the resignations and vacancies. We've had, 2 people resign. 1 person has been, moved up to full voting member, which is Linda. I've just been informed. That still leaves us with 1 member vacancy and 1 alternate vacancy. So we're still in the process of looking for 2 people. So if anyone knows of anyone that might be so inclined, please have them.
I thought Bethany had submitted a.
So mine's kind of in leeway. My schedule changes come summer, and I don't know if the board is going to accept that schedule change because I will basically be unavailable for 3 months.
Ah, okay.
The alternates can,
Yeah, the alternates can fill in. That's,
Yeah.
that's.
Right. So when I say we're looking for 2 people, it doesn't matter how we're looking at the configuration. We have 2 openings as alternates, or 1 is alternate, and 1 is board.
the two
Doesn't matter.
alternates, period.
We need 2 people, is the bottom line.
Got it.
I'll see what I can do.
So,
Russell 'em up.
if they're interested and they want to talk to any of us to learn what it's about, there is a gentleman that said to me tonight that he was interested and was going to talk to me on Monday, and ultimately fill out some paperwork and send it to the selectmen.
Okay.
Due to, my understanding is due to the resignation of Mardine, we need to, at least temporarily until May, move someone from this board to represent us on the zoning board of adjustments.
And then it would be revisited in May.
In May is when we do all of the reorganization of this board, and I'll get to that in a minute with that document I handed to you. Do I have anybody that would be interested in,
I'm willing. I'm
You're
willing
willing?
to do it, and then
Okay.
with the understanding that come May,
come May, we'll revisit it.
yeah, although,
I'm not sure that I can,
Yep,
due to the fact that Sam is on the zoning board.
yep, understood.
yeah.
All right,
Come May, more or less, I will have retired.
come May, all
So I
of,
may be more open to it at that point
Right.
when I don't have to.
yep. So, if everyone is happy with that, I will move that Linda will be our representative till May on the zoning board. Do I have a second?
I'll
second.
second that. Oh, no, there
We
you go.
got a ton of them.
Okay, we have multiple seconds. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Congratulations.
I'm gonna have to go home and say, I said I wasn't gonna do this, but
Andy and Fred, how are we handling the Lakes Region Planning Commission?
Good question. She hasn't resigned from there yet. We haven't seen a resignation from Mardine from them yet.
does she have to?
I thought she was the planning board's rep to it. I'm not really sure how that works.
No, I don't believe she's the planning board rep. I think she's the town rep. But we'll have to look into that.
Okay,
Because if she didn't step down from that,
yeah,
then.
like I said, I'm not sure, this is why I'm asking.
Yeah,
So-
neither am I.
All right, so we'll look into that situation. Okay, I handed you all, and I emailed you all, rules and procedures. I have made some corrections. The email, I believe, is the current one, and the one you have here in front of you is the one that I would make a suggestion to. I did make some minor spelling and grammatical changes. Those are not in red. The major changes are in red. I take you to officers. I would add recording secretary. That is a position which, when we have Mylars and stuff that go to the state, we have to have a recording secretary sign them. So I would add that position, and they're also ultimately responsible to make sure that the minutes and everything are done and kept and everything, working with the secretary and the land use, provided that we have a secretary once that situation is
Can
rectified.
you tell me what page and everything you're on? 'Cause
Page 2.
mine's Not in red.
Mine is, yeah, this isn't in red.
Maybe,
The old one.
If you just
Yeah,
tell us
you have
what
the
number
old
we're looking at. then-
Wait, I think you and I
Page
have the
2,
old one.
yeah,
1C.
there's some old ones here.
Okay. Sorry, my printer stopped and I had to reprint, and I must have printed the wrong one.
Yeah, but I have the new one.
I know how to
Yeah,
do it.
hold on.
You know, with the new
Because
one.
I printed out the
And
new
this is
one
an old
that
one.
you emailed out.
I'm gonna keep the oldie and then.
The one oh, man.
Yeah, see, the new one does say Thursday.
Yes, it does.
Yeah, and the one I saved is the wrong one. Okay. Isn't
Now
that
I found
wonderful?
it. Sorry, he just doesn't.
I love computers.
Hold on, can we go back to it?
Yeah, this is the corrected one because
Do
it does say
undo.
Thursday.
Or click the down arrow on it and you can see all the edits that you've made.
The down arrow?
Yep. Underneath the undo. Do you see how there's a caret next to the undo?
Where's
Yep.
the undo?
Right there. Yep.
Right there?
Update fields. I don't know what those are. Remember, this is it's not
Undo.
specific.
One action.
Yeah, I'm not worried about it. Okay, so anyways, the changes I made was I added the recording secretary, which shall be a board member responsible for ensuring that the minutes is accurately done, sign Mylars and other official documents as required as for recording secretary's signature.
Sign or sigh?
Sign.
Should they sigh?
Well, sigh is spelled correctly. And then on page 3, number 1 under meetings, I changed it from Wednesday to Thursday.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. This is for you to review. This will come up at a later meeting for us to discuss this. And then before the May meeting, we'll adopt it. If you take a look at page 10-ish, 9, there is, yeah, okay, so on page 10, it has all the times it's been reviewed and amended. So, probably at our next meeting, we will take this up to discuss it on the May 3rd meeting, or April 3rd meeting.
Kendall?
Yes, ma'am.
This, the RSA 676-4 may be useful because it lays out exactly how planning boards are supposed to operate. So we can just double check as we review this. I'm
Right.
assuming you did that, but
This actually mentions those RSAs in it. Yep.
if we want to just be super diligent, we
Yep.
can just double check and make sure that they match.
Absolutely.
So the way I understood it, the alternates sit at the table when it's a public meeting. And when you are going to be a full voting member that evening, otherwise you sit with the public. Unless I read it wrong.
So I'm a little bit confused by that as well. And
I
that's,
don't mind, I was just
yeah,
wanting
and
to
that's something
clarify.
which I want to discuss on the April 3rd meeting,
Okay.
so that we're all on the same page. I kind of like it the way that we've been doing it, where we have 3 extra sets of eyes that have caught a lot of things that otherwise may have not been caught. So, the only thing that has to happen is you cannot vote unless you are raised to a voting member.
Because I actually read like where you're supposed to be
Yeah,
seated, so.
yeah, there is
And my
a thing
impression
there
was
where you
that
move
was-
back and forth.
Yeah, my impression was that was only for public hearings,
You sit at the table for only during the public.
I think, but we can read it and.
Yeah.
Reread it. 'cause
We'll read
we're-
it and discuss it on
Yeah.
the April 3rd meeting.
Okay.
Okay, that brings us to Mill Pond. First, let me go back here.
Do you need to give us an update on the charrette first?
I can.
Doesn't matter, we can do it in the other order, but.
So, we received this letter today from Kara. It is a request to continue the the village at Mill Pond. When you're doing that search on the DES, try village at Mill Pond.
I did.
You did, okay. And the site plan application to April 17th. Advice from our attorney is always, if they ask for one, you should probably grant them one.
Agreed.
But the site walk is still happening
The site walk is still happening. She does mention that somewhere in here. Yeah, wear boots. The site walk is happening on Sunday at noon. And Friday, the 28th, we will be having a private meeting with our attorney.
That's at 9.
That's at 9 a.m.
And then we'll just move over to there. I mean, on Sunday.
On Sunday, we are only meeting with them at noon time at mill number 3, right across the street there.
Okay.
The entranceway. So the question is, do I have a motion to grant a continuance to April 17th for Village at Mill Pond subdivision and site plan?
I make a motion for the continuation of the Mill Pond, the Village at Mill Pond subdivision and site plan applications to April 17th.
See, it is difficult to say.
Second it?
Yeah.
I have a motion, I have a second. Do I have any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Unanimous.
Opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Okay. We have the plans. The plans were emailed to each of you. Maybe not to you. You should have gotten them too. They emailed
I
a.
haven't seen them, but that doesn't mean anything.
Okay, I'm gonna ask Jane to, when she gets back from vacation, to re-email them to everyone.
Okay.
The link, those plans right there. Those are the latest plans. The only thing that I really would like to look over tonight would be the roadway, seeing that's really what we're having a site plan walkthrough of. There is a map showing where the hazardous materials are that was provided to us by Mill Pond when this first started. I have some concerns of us walking a great deal of the property because of that.
I mean, walking through contaminated.
Right.
Asbestos.
No, the asbestos is one thing, but when the Norris Group came to us, they told us that the site was heavily contaminated with PFAS. I'm more concerned about the PFAS, to be honest with you, than I am the
That's fair.
asbestos. I'm still concerned about the asbestos, don't get me wrong. I also will encourage you all to wear boots that can be washed with a hose.
Okay. And is there anything, I mean, should we wear masks?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Should they be respirator masks? I mean, we don't have those.
We-
Or
we-
N95s?
I would say M95.
I will
Yes.
I have a large quantity of N95s. I know where they're stored.
Yeah,
Oh, me too.
okay,
I will get those and bring those with us for the public as well as for us,
okay.
okay?
Just so you're aware, I'm on shift at 3, so I will have to leave
I
at
certainly hope
2.
that we will be well done before 2.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay. And what we are looking at
I'm in uniform.
in particular is the roadway, and is there
Yes.
anything else that we want to focus on?
Are we walking the whole property, or are we just walking?
We are only walking the roadway.
I'm gonna be real honest. I'm concerned with the first 200, 300 feet.
Exactly. The site where they want to do the building currently is very snowy, very muddy. We're supposed to be getting some rain in between now and then,
Possibly snow.
and/or snow.
So
So
we
it,
could possibly slip and fall in it, and the boots would be.
I really want us to
Point.
stay only on the road. I don't really want to go off-site. Correct me if I'm wrong, either of you.
You need to stay on the roadway because the material that's on the ground can become airborne if you step on
Right.
Is that the asbestos in
The asbestos,
particular?
that's the
Yeah.
asbestos.
So I
Yeah.
shouldn't
As
have
well as the
gone running
PFAS
out
can
there.
too.
it. No, definitely not.
And as Bethany said, really what we're concerned about here is, can we open that up?
I think the walk is important.
Correct me,
Just
there's
pray
a
that it
gate at
dries
the
up a
end
little
where
bit.
we're going to stop.
Yes,
There is a gate there, yes.
yes, there is.
Been a while since I looked at those.
There was a gate there.
They haven't taken it
Whoa,
It's still there.
Sorry.
down?
that's all right.
So, I guess what I can't wrap my head around, A, is the removal of the sidewalk.
So,
I can't either.
For a mill pond, I can't wrap my head around that. Especially because kiddos are gonna be walking that all the time.
It's
gonna-
gonna be totally unsafe for them walking.
Yeah, and then the other thing that I can't envision, and usually I'm a pretty good, I can see things spatially,
Okay.
is Mrs. Dow's property. I believe it's Mrs. Dow's, correct?
Mrs. Dow's property is this right here.
Yeah,
And this right here. This is showing that
that's what I'm
that
wondering
part
about.
of their road is in whatever part of that building that is.
Is that the shed that somebody talked about?
I don't know. It's either that or it actually could be the lot line of the property. We'll have to figure that out when we get there. Because she said that they were very close.
I just don't want cars driving into her
No, I don't either.
residence. sorry.
This is a little better.
You guys are
So
gonna
this is
put me
showing
on
the lot
board
line
already.
of the property is right there,
Okay.
okay? And I can pull it up on the tax map in a second.
shed.
I believe that is a shed right there.
Well, and she raised a question about that at an earlier
Yeah.
meeting.
Is she gonna have
And
to
her
do
parking's
that?
in front of the shed,
Yes, it is.
okay? And my concern here also is if, this here is not the way they depict it. This here is more of a banking with about the size of this table that slopes right
It's
down into water.
Straight down.
Straight down. They're shifting the road over. Talking with this, Ledgewood is one of their properties. For those of you that are familiar with Ledgewood, the school picks up, not at Ledgewood, the school picks up at Avery Street. The school is not going to be picking up here like they say. The school is going to be picking up here.
And no sidewalk, they're all gonna walk down.
Right.
Oh my
And
God.
so
Doesn't have sidewalks.
Winter Street does have a
Oh,
sidewalk.
does it? Oh, okay.
Yes.
The sidewalk, the
Street
sidewalk,
does. Mill
Taking it
Pond
away.
the sidewalk
they
goes
take
from
it
Mill
away.
Pond up to Main Street. The other question and the other concern that I've also raised with the school is that this is within 1 mile of the school.
So it's not usually a pickup.
They do not bus kids that live within 1 mile of
Yeah.
the school.
They did make an acceptance
They-
for Ledgewood picking up at Avery Street because
Right.
of the quantity of children. Because
Right.
my kiddos can go to Avery Street to be picked
So,
up. if
so
they
there,
wanted
there
to.
is that, the school can always make it, they have not made a determination at this point. But if they do, they're gonna be stopping here, because they would come down through here, go around and back around.
So this, it doesn't, that's the other question that I have. So the school bus, if it stops there, you're at the bottom of a hill, which is hard to see down, but you're also, it doesn't depict the corner here, which there's, I know we have the bridge here, but the corner is a pretty sharp one that comes here, so I just,
And we've had issues with
terrifies
cars
me.
sliding.
Yeah.
I mean, I've
Oh, yeah.
I've slid down the hill trying to get
Didn't
up
we
the
have an
hill.
accident this year?
This year,
Right
we had
there?
an accident
Yeah.
right here
Yeah.
from a car that came around the corner, and they were not going fast at all. They were going very slow. And she just kept on going and was trying
Yeah.
to stop. She was
The
on the brakes.
posted speed limit for Winter Street is 20 miles per hour, but anybody who drives Winter Street knows that nobody does 20 miles per hour.
So in other
Except
words,
for
it's
me.
potentially a very unsafe
Donna, I've
stopping
seen you
point
drive.
for.
I asked about that.
Potentially.
People
yeah.
say that to me.
Man,
that
my
I'm
radar
fast.
has
And
picked you
depending
up.
upon what time of day,
Am I
you
really
have a
fast?
lot
I think I'm
of
slow.
congestion right
Right.
here.
Well, that's the other
And
thing.
a lot of
is-
these kids, correct me if I'm wrong, are
But I
gonna
feel
go
like I'm
over there.
slow.
Oh, yeah.
You were right at the speed limit.
Okay.
I don't see why they wouldn't go over there.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
Mill number 3 is
They're
a
very
great
gullible.
resource for the community with all this
Yep.
kid stuff that they do.
Yeah.
So,
I don't like the idea of no sidewalk. I can tell you that. I wish they
I
could
don't
figure
either.
something else
However,
out.
if we say that they need a sidewalk, then there's going to be less space for that property line right there.
that's,
Forget the minimum
again,
speed limit in New Hampshire is 35 miles an hour on a residential road. So 20 mile an hour posting is illegal.
It can be, so it's determined, isn't it determined by, engineers that will come in, and I believe due to the hill on Winter Street as well as the corner, that's why they
Has to
dropped
be
it to
approved by
20.
the state under state
And,
law.
yes, and I believe, wasn't Winter Street approved by the state law, or
I
no?
don't believe so. I don't think there's any record of it.
Jeez, I'm gonna shut up right now.
We haven't been able to find one, so I don't know where it is.
Listen, the speeding tickets that I wrote for that area when I worked here, they've been adjudicated, so we'll just leave it
Yeah,
at
we'll just
that.
leave that alone.
Well, the other concern I would have is, and I'm thinking of the report that Will Olwick wrote about traffic kind of coming
Yeah.
in and out. If you've got a school bus and a large volume of people trying to get out that same street and congestion on the other side, it just sounds like a recipe for a
So
real
the state-
mess.
The state would look at Mill Pond and say that it's a flat, straight road, and they would not lower the speed limit, I can tell you straight out.
Winter Street doesn't, I'm slow on Winter Street, not because I've ever seen a sign for 20 miles an hour. 'Cause if you asked me what the speed limit on that street was, I probably couldn't tell
I
you.
hate cops that do that. Sorry.
But I'm slow because there's not much frontage to their homes. I'm afraid some of them are gonna walk out their front door and,
Especially because the sidewalk
kids.
doesn't extend around that
All
corner.
right, so
There's always
if you
kiddos
look
that
here
do
at
that.
the building, the road is right up against
Yeah.
this.
Yeah,
okay.
It's a great argument for sidewalks.
yeah.
Yeah, if you go back here, you'll see, again, the road and her boundary line are right there.
Yeah.
So,
They do have a little more space here, but again, this is not truthfully depicting what is actually there
Because of the incline.
because of the incline and lack of, well, the road has collapsed
yeah,
over
I
the
was gonna
years.
say that. It's washed away.
Well,
quite a
and
bit.
presumably they can't modify, I mean, one could say, well, okay, if you want to make the road wider, then you shore it up underneath, but I'm assuming they can't because that would be modifying shoreline.
Well, they're saying they're putting in a retaining wall there, which is a modification to the shoreline in and of
They
itself.
have to get a DES permit to put in a concrete retaining wall, pump it out and fill it in.
But they can't take footage, they can't add footage, correct?
In other
With
words,
that
they can't
retaining
make it
wall,
wider.
Does it have to keep the same existing water line? I believe it does. I believe that they can't add or take away the water line. Am I correct in saying that, Andy, from what I read?
believe you are correct,
Okay.
yes.
So this here, I believe you're gonna find out is a great pond. And being so, it falls under the Shoreline Protection Act. And because it's with Squam Lake, Squam River, it also falls under the Shoreline Protection Act. There are some grandfathered issues within there because of the mill, but not necessarily right here. And therefore, what you guys just said would be correct.
Okay. So then they run into the issue, if we want them to have a sidewalk, which I think makes a lot of sense.
I think they need.
They
one
can't then,
project,
does that mean they can't meet town requirements for the necessary width of a road? Because they
I
can't
do
change
not
the
believe that they can
shoreline.
meet town requirements with the necessary width of the road construction as it is currently laid out.
That's correct.
And that is why they're asking for the waiver, hence really this site walk. But even if you were to give the waiver, I would make it conditional that for it ever to be a town road, they would have to bring it up to all town standards.
Which they're not gonna be able to do.
They can't, the planning board can't make that decision, can they? It's the select board's,
The select board makes a decision on whether a road is a public road.
Yeah.
okay,
But we are the ones with the waiver, according to our attorney.
okay, all right.
A waiver to your site plan.
A waiver to our site plan
Right.
rules and regulations.
They have another alternative.
Yeah.
They can buy that piece of property.
They do. They have another alternative, which they can buy, not just that, but all 4 of these properties.
Yep.
Good luck.
Why
And I'm
would
not
these,
sure that's a great pond because is it 100 acres or more?
10 acres constitutes a great pond.
Well, they've changed the statute.
It's 10 acres.
It used to be 100.
May have been, but now I know it's 10.
Okay.
Because if I sell real estate on anything 10 acres or more, it's classified as a great pond,
Okay.
and then I have to do a septic review.
Has that one
Which
been
is lots of
classified?
I do not know the answer to that, but
It has to be
they,
classified by the state in order to be a great pond.
yep.
all right, so,
But
Yeah.
Swam River is part of it.
Well, no, it's not part of the pond, it's just part of the
Not part of the
water
pond,
body.
but is part of the waterway, which is protected by the Shoreline Protection Act.
Absolutely, and if you're gonna build anything out there, you're probably gonna need not only state permits, you're gonna need Army Corps of Engineers permits.
Yes, you do.
oh, good.
I definitely wouldn't go without sidewalks.
No,
I'm just gonna be like
Can
a
I-
dog with a bone.
Is it okay to walk on 70 and 71, or am I still looking at?
70 and 71?
Yeah. No.
you mean when we're over there?
Yeah.
Right there.
There's
Oh, these
because
two?
there's so many kids that go over there and fish and everything like that. Not that they should,
So
but I didn't see anything on any.
technically,
maps.
these
I know
two
I
should,
digress. I'm sorry.
these two should be fine. Yeah, these two should be.
The
As far
walk
as
should be
that,
interesting. to really
as
get
far
a
as,
feel.
as far as hazardous materials, yeah, those are fine.
Okay.
That's the brew house.
Yeah,
That's what I
Oh,
thought.
okay.
The hazardous materials is really has to do with
Where they're gonna put
the mill, the old,
residencies.
right, really, it's this section right in through here. And it has, you can't see it on this map, but there are a bunch of, on there's a bunch of railroad lines.
Yeah.
The biggest asbestos is right above the E, right in this area.
Okay.
Yeah, the ground's covered with it.
And this is also not showing that there is a pond right here.
Yeah,
So,
it's kind of like an overflow. That's
It's an overflow
full, yeah.
pond, it's a flood pond.
And like right after that is where the gate is.
Do these plans show the wetlands? There's 2 or 3 of them in there.
I believe some of them.
so if they had to put in a sidewalk, and, I mean, would the remaining space for a road even allow two-way traffic?
It would have to.
Well, would it
It's
be
not
wide enough to
for
allow?
it.
It's not wide enough.
So,
May not be wide enough, but it will have to. So they would have to find a way to make it,
okay.
which, as Mr. Walsh said just a few minutes ago, looks like they may be buying some properties.
Well, and that's assuming anybody's going to want to sell to them.
That's assuming, yeah, anybody wants to voluntarily
They
sell.
might, if the project's going in, they might be interested in selling, you never know.
Could very well.
The price is right.
Yeah,
$2 billion a lot.
but we have to make sure that, I mean, that everybody that's there already is
Whether
safe and-
whether they do or not is not our concern. Our concern simply is the road
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
ensuring the safety of the people who
Right,
traverse
exactly.
that road.
Yeah.
Because if it can't be two-way, then anybody who wants to get,
It has to be a
Oh,
two-way
Has to be a
road.
two-way road.
okay,
So
And
so
what's the-
it has
if
it has to be a minimum of 20 or 22 feet, and that is for fire protection to get the fire
sure.
trucks in and out
sure.
with passing each other.
And with,
Steve was very
and how
clear
much
on
is
that.
required, yeah, sure, how much is required for a sidewalk?
2 feet.
No,
No,
No.
is it more than that?
5 feet.
Yeah, I was gonna say, because you have the
Gotta be
shoulders.
wide enough
Oh,
for
it's gotta be the
wheelchair.
shoulder.
It's gotta be
And the
handicap
wheels- Okay,
accessible.
that's right.
Yeah,
Yep, so it's 3 feet of pavement with 2 feet on each side.
Yep,
so what are they asking that we waive?
the sidewalk.
No, they're asking that we waive the shoulder. They don't believe that it needs a sidewalk. That is us saying whether it will or not. And this is why they want to separate the plans, and this is why I'm saying they can't separate the plans. If they want to do the subdivision first, which does not require a sidewalk, the site plan, which puts in all the housing, that does require a sidewalk, and they have put sidewalks, if you can look on the plans, they put sidewalks all the way in, leading right up to that circle, and then they stop. And these 4 houses do not have sidewalks because they're a subdivision. Subdivisions do not require it unless they're combined, like I keep telling them it has to be. And that's why I keep telling them.
Yes.
So-
I agree, just for safety. I'm sure they'll understand and maybe they, yeah.
They do understand, they don't want to
Everybody
spend
has
money.
to understand safety and you can't put a dollar sign on it.
No,
Right.
Unfortunately.
I did talk, you guys had, or
know.
at our last meeting, there was a discussion about, talking with Steve Heath about the roundabout. His preference is that it remain a circled. He would prefer it to be paved all the way around, without something in the middle. But he would rather it was not a hammerhead because his experience with hammerheads has been that people plow snow into them and leave the snow there.
I was
It
just
makes it
thinking
hard to
in the
turn
winter.
around. It's much easier to turn around in a roundabout, even though people may travel through the middle. If that's a concern, you can always have them put a different type of material in the middle, whether it's cobblestone or something like they did up to Plymouth.
Yeah.
Oh, so you can still drive over.
So you can still drive over it, but it's not
it's
pleasant.
visually
How
different.
do you get to the back of the buildings when there's a fire?
They do have sidewalks to the backs of the buildings.
Is a sidewalk big enough to hold a ladder truck?
Oh, God, no.
Yeah, then it's not big enough to get a piece of equipment back there for rescue purposes.
Doesn't Ledgewood have roadways all the way to the backs, except for the one off to the right, the 2 buildings off to the right? I think the one on the If you're coming in, the ones on the right, it doesn't, but the one in front, I believe,
I
does.
believe the furthest back one, I know there was a road that heads out
Yeah.
back there. I honestly have not been out there in 20, 30 years, so I couldn't tell you.
Well, these are new buildings going up, and I don't know what your laws are here in New Hampshire, but with development of this size, do they need indoor sprinklers?
Yes, all buildings are indoor sprinklers.
Okay, so that's good anyway.
So what are their options if we say you have to do a sidewalk, which I think.
That
we
is
should
for
do.
them to come up with, not for us.
Right,
Okay.
that's their problem.
Yep,
Yeah. Find a way to do it.
yep. Hence my earlier comment, their issue, not ours.
And then if they buy those other pieces of property, those old mills have been toppled and buried there. They could very well be filled with materials that are not allowed. So, and that's
What-
why
what-
there's asbestos all over the place.
What is
down there.
concerning me is I have been told that the Phase 2 environmental report is finished, complete,
Yeah,
and they are not releasing it.
Why?
Who isn't?
Mill Pond?
The Mill Pond Development
Couldn't
has
we get
not,
that from DES?
has
or
not
did they
released
do
it. No, Norris did it.
it's private property.
Oh.
It's private property until they choose to release it.
Yeah,
But why they have not chosen to release it is beyond me.
there's only one reason they would not.
That's only one reason I can think of, but that's, and making an assumption, you know what happens when one assumes.
Oh, yes, yes.
So,
It's just
Usually you're right.
speculation.
it is
It's-
speculation.
We speculate that. Okay.
So,
Pure speculation.
we're waiting for that report. I'd like to get that report. You all got the police department report?
Yes.
You all got Fred's report?
Yes.
I assume you've all read both of them?
Yes.
The
We
other
are-
reports will be coming out another week.
Okay, and we'll get those shortly. That's pretty much where we're all at. Yes, ma'am.
So if they're requesting a waiver around the sidewalk, at what point are we supposed to tell them yes or no?
At the meeting on the 17th, presumably, if you guys are ready to vote. Some of it will depend upon what our attorney has to say to us. I have no idea what she wants to talk to us about. I can only make an assumption that we're talking about the procedural stuff here with this. Like I said, she just lent over to me at close to the end of the meeting and said, I need to have a meeting with all of you as soon as we can.
Okay.
Does she know that we have concerns about, like grave concerns about having sidewalks?
I believe she does.
Okay.
She is CC'd on all communications with Mill Pond at this point. We are trying to make sure that we cross all our Ts, dot our Is, and that we are doing what we are required to do by law.
Okay.
And she has made comments to both Jane and I that has helped us to communicate, and some of which was relevant to pass on to you guys. Some of it was just head off to them.
Okay.
Okay, so this Sunday we have a site walk.
This Sunday is the site walk.
Monday at 9 is a meeting with the attorney.
No, Friday.
No, Friday.
Friday at 9.
Friday the 28th,
And
9
that's
a.m.
Before the
At the town hall.
celebration for Steve Heath's retirement.
Hopefully.
Yes.
I will not be able to be there, Mr. Chairman. I have surgery
Yeah.
scheduled.
Okay. If there's another time that is more convenient, I can always ask her.
I think you need to get this done as soon as possible.
Well, that's what I'm saying, maybe there's a time next week that this board could meet with her.
Well, you always can do that. I mean, I can't tell you what's gonna happen with the surgery because I don't know.
I understand.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that if you guys, I can ask her for a different day.
No, I think you need to do this for the scheduled day,
Okay,
and if she needs additional information, I'll be happy to provide it.
okay. I think that's all I got on that.
And should we come with any questions we
Yes.
have? Because I have questions about, what
Absolutely.
are our legal boundaries and so on,
Yep.
so that we understand.
And I encourage each and every one of you to read over both the site plan regulations and the zoning regulations to this effect.
I could tell you, Mr. Chairman, that Well, they have given these plans. I assume these are the same plans they gave the department heads.
These are the department head plans, yes.
Okay. They did not give a copy of those plans to the Board of Selectmen.
Do you want one?
You're welcome to take some.
Well, those are yours. I mean, you need a copy of the plans as well. I just want to tell you, they didn't give them to the selectmen, and I have instructed the department heads to include or to give a separate report saying that if those plans, anything in those plans changes at all,
Yes.
the entire plans are subject to re-review.
Yes, any motion that we make in regard to Mill Pond, please add that onto it, that any alterations to all plans must go back before us.
I do have a question in regards to Chief Alwick's letter. I was wondering if there's any way, and I know that he very eloquently alluded to the increase due to Ledgewood. I'm wondering if we can see the call volume. I know it's public knowledge. If we can see the call volume of when before Ledgewood and after Ledgewood,
Well, that
as
would
this
be
would be
interesting.
a similar.
Oh, boy.
No,
I don't know
no,
if
you're
the
not.
records go back that far.
No,
Okay.
When did Ledgewood go in?
Ledgewood went in, my grandmother sold them the property in 1970.
Yeah,
So just a few
Okay.
days ago.
yeah.
So it's been
Different,
that.
different town back then.
Yeah.
Literally had one cop.
I'm not sure you could equate that to the proposal they're making here.
No,
When
I
did
just
they
think
build
that's the only thing that
Ledgewood?
we have.
1970, 70 through
Close.
73.
Yeah.
That's how long that's
I
been
agree.
there? Ledgewood? Wow.
That's been
Prior to zoning, prior to zoning.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Ah, okay.
Are they
Not by
apartments or
much.
condos?
they're apartments.
Yeah.
They're 1 and 2 bedroom apartments.
And KB, we're still meeting joint, the BOS
Oh, yes.
and the planning board on the 24th, correct?
Yes, I'm glad you brought that up.
At 6:30.
I totally forgot about that. So, that is Monday.
It was 6:30,
I
right?
think it was 6:30.
Yeah.
Monday, 6:30 at this room.
Yes.
We will be meeting with the Board of Selectmen, and the purpose of that is,
I don't know. I was told you guys wanted the meeting.
Oh, I don't have that on my list.
I don't
Is this
either.
new?
What time?
6:30.
The question is, do you want the meeting?
We would have done the meeting on Friday already, and then we would be doing the site walk on Sunday, and then we would meet on Monday?
the only thing that I would think, I didn't know we requested it.
I was told that you folks requested.
I will not be available.
Okay. The only thing that I could think of that we would want to discuss would be how to handle the road situation.
No.
You mean after the
From-
site walk?
The road, Mill Pond Road?
Mill Pond Road.
Okay.
The other roads, that's,
In regards
On our hands.
to private versus public, or?
no, in regards to their request for a site waiver.
I
which
think,
I
is
think-
that
I think
the
we've-
you question or the attorney question?
It's all of the above question.
Okay.
They've already got the listed on the plans as being a public road.
Oh, I know, and we have corrected them multiple times that it is not a public road.
Well, their contention is the town plowed it. If they plowed it once, it's a public road.
That is not true.
Well, I know that's not true. You know that's not true. The Supreme Court knows that's not true.
What
So,
road did they say it is a public?
Mill Pond.
Mill Pond Road.
They're saying that because, and I believe it's written in the deed, that the town has the right to trim trees and do road maintenance as needed to service the properties that are located on that road.
well, I haven't seen the deed, but,
I believe I read that in the deed.
yeah, that would not comply with state law.
Yeah, well, this was written
That, back then,
back 30,
yeah.
1930s.
So it allowed us there, but it doesn't say that it's.
It allows you to, it
Right.
doesn't say you have to, for emergency access.
Well, there is a statute that, but the town hasn't accepted it. So,
So that may be
So
something.
let's get back to this meeting on the 24th. if you folks have to make if the planning board has to make the decision, do we really need that meeting on the
I
24th?
don't believe we do.
I think you do that when whether you either accept or reject the plans. Or continue them.
I think we meet with the attorney on the 28th. And then if we decide that we do need to have a meeting together, then we do
That
that
makes-
before the 17th.
That makes sense. I'll call off the,
That makes a lot of sense.
I'll call off the BOS.
Okay.
Okay.
They'll be happy to hear that.
All right, shoot, I don't have my phone with me. We're gonna hold off on the technical review for a moment, and we're gonna move back to the charrette. Mr. Brown, Mario, is meeting with the Plymouth Selectmen at 6 o'clock, and then he's coming to meet with us. So, we need to kill a little bit of time. The charrette. Most of you, if not all of you, should have gotten an email today asking for you to attend.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I RSVP'd.
Oh, is it 7:30?
Yeah, that's lost an
Okay.
hour since
All right.
meeting.
Maybe he must be held up more than he thought.
Yeah.
Anyways, invitation to the beginning planning phase of the charrette on April 4th. This is only a meet and greet to start the process. There will be a lot more to come after that. Andrew Dorset will be leading it, and some guy in Plymouth will be assisting him.
What time and where?
The Booster Clubhouse.
Yep.
At 10:30 a.m. on April 4th. I will be in Mexico.
Oh,
Oh, good excuse.
Somebody's gotta be warm.
Where in Mexico?
Can't hear me.
We'll be here and she'll be drinking a margarita on the
Yeah, it is
beach.
all inclusive.
So 10:30 on the
10:30.
4th. Yeah,
10:30.
okay.
Actually, I'll still be on the plane.
Are the kids going to?
Oh God,
I'll be there if I can.
Yeah, I'll be there.
Actually, this was a very last minute
Nice.
decision. So we were gifted flights, and we said
Sweet.
absolutely.
We're gonna try to find the other two charrettes that were done.
Yes, please.
Kendall, question, because when you and I last talked, it sounded as though we would have to, in major ways, rethink how we would do the charrette. Is this to talk about, in part, that, how we have to?
There's a little bit of that, but I was trying to find the thing from Mr. Doucette. But he believes he has found a way to do that with some grant money and some private money.
It's terrific, great.
Yep.
Oh, good.
I have also, because we need to get moving on the master plan, I have also spoken to the Economic Development Committee to find out their interest in looking at the economic development part of the master plan. So they're going to talk about that. It seemed a logical thing. So their meeting was last night at this room. They're just going to take a look at it and give us any suggestions that they may have, so that we have that for the charrette and everything. Okay, got that. That ain't it. Oh! Yes, forget about this.
Get that.
So, something else for us to discuss at some point. Mrs. Steve Heath's wife, Lynn Davis, somehow ended up at a event that was happening at the Common Man. And our state representative Mr. Lovett, was doing a presentation with Lakes Region Community Developers about this about the village at Mill Pond, and handed out this flyer to them. I believe I've sent the flyer to all of you. Okay. But there's some interesting observations to be made here.
Our representative
Our representative to the New Hampshire legislature.
handed these out?
That is what I understand from Ms. Davis and Mr. Heath
It's not walkable to downtown, there's no sidewalk.
at a meeting at the Common Man.
And-
The meeting was to discuss housing in
Even
the
though it
local
hasn't
area.
been totally approved yet.
Yes.
That would be my understanding, seeing we have it.
So they
That
are,
makes me nervous, like, I don't know, that just makes me nervous.
Does
They're
not
giving
make me
them the money
happy.
To do this.
say what?
The state and federal government are giving them the money to do this.
Yep.
They've already given them the money to build the land that was approved.
Yep,
It went through a hearing in Grafton County
yep.
last summer.
But this reads, the Village of Mill Pond is the new construction of 76
It's saying
units.
that it's a done deal, that they're coming in whether Ashland.
Wants them or not,
Well,
correct?
and honestly, it's not even that you don't want them, it's that it's not safe.
It's not suitable.
It's
Well-
not suitable, it's not safe,
Can they
I'm
legally do
just
this?
beside myself that a representative would have done that.
How is this not a complete misrepresentation?
Well, that's a really good question.
And
how
I
is
just
this
can't
not
answer because I
fraud?
agree with you.
I
False
can't even
advertising?
speak on it.
Yep.
I mean,
Yep.
if it hasn't even been approved, they are either assuming that they can push it through
They're assuming that it's
regardless.
already a done deal and no matter
Yeah,
what we say.
and so if
it's
they're
going through.
effectively advertising it, how is this not fraud?
Well, because they haven't taken any money for it yet, that's why.
I don't know.
Well, it's at very least highly misleading.
Well, it does tend to mislead people.
Oh, so the area where that big dump is actually where they're putting the Habitat for Humanity houses?
Well, it's a good site for it. I mean, it's,
No, but
you
you
know
know my,
People
you
that
know
are
what my
apt to do
concern
some
is
digging to
though?
plant trees and
Yeah.
stuff.
But my concern is truly, number one, and I said this before, I am not against low-income housing or housing of this nature, period. I'm all for it. I am so human service, all the way, public health, that's what I've lived my life in. But you're saying you care about the people that you're gonna place here, but you don't. Because you're putting them in an unsafe ground, that's all brown, and I doubt you can ever really clear it. And I've seen in my old town what happened with that. And there was a whole neighborhood where people got cancer and the houses got boarded up. So I'm not for that. I'm just not for that. And you're going to put them in a town where we can't provide the resources that these children will need or the elders will need. And where are the resources for them? It's just, it makes no sense to me. It boggles the mind. And as far as I'm concerned, the only people that will make out in this deal is the contractors. Once it's built, they leave, money has been made.
Well,
But what have we truly done for the people of the town and the people that will live there?
We raised their taxes.
Well, and I would add that it's going to burden the town in a way that people who are just scraping by to cover their expenses with the projected tax increases could lose their homes.
We're already having a tough time.
so I'm gonna redirect this
And
slightly.
the taxes are
Sorry,
gonna
Ken.
increase and we
Okay.
can't even provide them with the education they need.
Yeah,
I have to remind you that we have to look at what is in our site plan
yes,
Yes.
and what is in our subdivision regulations and go
Only.
from there.
only.
As far as the building of the property and everything, that's what we have to be concerned with,
True.
okay? The part of that has to do with the safety of the property. My concern with the safety of property is, as you eloquently just said, the hazardous materials and the flooding issues. We're still waiting to find out where the
sidewalk.
where the 105 500-year floods are, because I've been down to this property when it has been flooded. I've seen pictures of this property when these houses would be underwater, because the water comes down 5 different sites across there into this marsh, which becomes literally water, where these houses are built.
And you know what happens to the foundations when that happens?
That is,
Foundations crack and buildings fall down.
so our site plan and building regulations are a little not so strong on that we need to look at that. And the attorney has brought that to my attention. As far as the building of it, no, as Mario said, it is built to us. It's a nice build. The problem simply is where it is located.
Exactly.
It is a very poor location.
And so, on so many levels.
There is a reason why this is commercial property and why we need to stop making commercial property residential property. And that is one of the things I really want to get done with on the zoning, is that we need to protect our commercial property to be commercial. We have allowed too much residential to move into commercial areas.
Yeah.
I'll get off my soapbox.
Oh, I don't know, I was just on one, so.
Is that Irish soap?
I get a lot of Irish soap. I kiss the Bonnie Stone, you know.
Yeah, I know.
But, yeah, it's the safety factor is paramount for me.
It's paramount on so many levels.
Yep.
I also think
Well, this used to be a paper mill, as I recall.
yeah.
The
So
mer-
that ground has got to be soaked with mercury.
soaked with mercury is, we know that the railroad tracks came up from Boston and that they brought it to the woods of New Hampshire and dumped it.
Yep,
And that was also international paper,
yep.
which has long gone out of business because of lawsuits.
Well,
So, I mean, I had thought I'd heard somewhere along the way that some cleanup had been done there. Is that true? And if so, to
Yes,
what
that
extent?
is true. And at the foundation of the old buildings, which were down on the lower part of this particular property. off
It's
the
right in
main
this
road.
area, wasn't it?
No, it was out on the main road where they had fuel tanks buried there. And the state forced them to come in and remove the fuel tanks and do tests on the area and remove any residual fuels. And
Any
that's
of
the
them leak?
only environmental,
Oh, yes.
Oh,
that's
they
the
did.
only environmental thing that's been done down there that I'm aware of.
So nothing else has been done to treat the soil
No.
or remove it or
I met with the
anything?
state and we provided with them, to them, where they could find the plans that show where all the material is buried on site. They said, well, we may get to it in 5 to 10 years because we don't have any money to do that. The other comment I heard, and it wasn't something that was done in a meeting, it was something that was done in a discussion, was that, well, we'll take care of it after we build the buildings.
I don't want to
Who said this, Mill Pond?
Yeah, people in a discussion about Mill Pond.
Oh, we'll clean it up as we go.
No, it's gonna be cleaned up before you
No,
go.
Yeah.
before.
Yeah.
And checked and
That
tested?
Because
scares
there
the
are-
heck out of me.
There are plans for barrels that are buried out there that came up from Massachusetts by rail and were dumped off here in this town because the rail went through here and they own paper mills here.
Or they'll just cover it with something.
Well, they
that
can't cover
will-
that with something
How can I make
that's
this
gonna come
bigger?
through.
Exactly.
How can I
Yeah.
make
But
this
they're
bigger?
saying stuff that it won't go through, but it will.
Long Canal too.
Okay, so this is the site.
Go down to the bottom right hand corner. Nope, over. Do you see the little sliding bar? That's zoom. There you go.
So this is a survey that was done. When was this done?
This was done the beginning of the,
Well, this was done in '23.
yeah.
August of '23, showing locations of hazardous materials. There's your asbestos right there. There's a foundation that's supposedly filled in.
With what?
Exactly.
You know, there was a earlier plan that showed more.
And I've got it.
Yeah.
And there were.
We've got it on those floppies, don't we? The
Thumb drives.
No,
Thumb
I've actually
drives?
got it on paper.
Yeah,
So you have it
okay.
on both, maybe?
Is there any way we
So,
can see
so this here is the wetlands,
I'll look at mine.
and that is the illegal dump.
There are at least 2 illegal
Yep.
solid waste facilities out there, just dumps. And there's several areas that are indicated where there are buried drums.
Is there any way, is that available digitally, Andy, at all, so it could be emailed out? Guess not, huh?
It's available. You have to be smart enough to do it.
Yeah.
And I'm not.
And one of the things I was curious about with that showing where hazardous waste is, I mean, if Fred is saying the soil has all kinds of mercury in it, is that mapped
They
out?
processed paper in the old.
No,
days
I'm
when
not
they
doubting what
processed
you're saying,
paper, you
Mike.
had mercury.
Yeah, no, I'm agreeing, but the point is there any map that also, in addition to drums and other contamination, has been tested to show that there's
No,
mercury
they
through it?
didn't do soil contamination testing, that's the problem.
Fred, do we still have those discs that we were gonna give to the state and they wouldn't take them?
You know, I don't know that we
The
did.
state wouldn't take them?
No,
the
the
state-
state wouldn't take them.
The state wouldn't take them because they have very strict rules and you don't bring.
Oh, from the
uh,
outside?
Oh, they can't put it in their computer?
Yeah, they can't put it in their computer.
Are they the
Gotcha.
old
Yeah.
square floppy drives, or are they CDs?
No,
Oh,
they're the thumb drives.
Oh, thumb drives.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're just afraid of malware.
Yeah, sure.
Yes, yeah,
No, they're just afraid of something else.
yeah, well,
Viruses.
I mean, I
No, they're
can check
afraid to have
thumb
to do
drives.
some work.
Andy, I have the means of checking thumb drives for viruses.
yeah.
I don't know,
So-
I mean, maybe all concerns will be brought up, and when they bring up a way that they wanna clean it up, and we don't feel comfortable with that, or the DES says that, no, it can't be done that way, maybe they'll do what needs to be done in a different way, who knows?
This could
We
very
shall
well be a
find out.
Superfund site.
We shall find out.
Is there gonna be money
they come
anymore
up
for
with.
super funds?
They're not funding that stuff anymore.
Yeah.
We have several
know how you
Superfund
can
sites
clean
in
that
New
all
Hampshire,
up.
and they put chain link fences around them with big signs on them saying no trespassing, dangerous.
Yep.
Yeah.
So what we're looking at here is the FEMA flood map. And you will, if you were to superimpose their building over it, this here area,
Yeah.
this down here, and this here is all within the flood zone and where they're putting buildings.
They're not concerned with that. They're only concerned with how to make money.
But if they're in flood zones, then how are they even gonna be able to insure the
In fact, the
buildings?
road even goes through a
You
flood zone.
can't afterwards, because once the foundation's cracked because of it, because it's a,
Yeah.
mold gets in there.
Right.
You
Yeah.
can't keep it dry, because.
So you
you're in
could
the
end up
flood
with
zone.
sick buildings because
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
mold infestation.
Yeah, our town actually had a neighborhood with gorgeous homes that went up, and all of us said, wait a minute, that's been wetlands for years. When did it not become wetlands? And then all of a sudden, years and years later, they're
They
stuck
went.
with these homes, they can't sell them.
Yeah.
So I
Can't
guess
sell
my
it, can't
question
sell.
is, if you're building in, how can you build in wetlands? I didn't think that
You have to
was
get
allowed.
a permit from the state DES.
Uh-huh.
They have to review everything. There is a way to build in wetlands. However, you have to create more wetlands for the wetlands that you have disturbed. It's not easy, it's not fun,
Not
and it's a
disturbed,
problem.
displaced.
Yeah.
Displaced.
That's
And does
right,
this,
And you
does
have to
this,
figure out where the runoff's gonna
I know.
go, once you disturb
Right.
it.
Right. Yeah.
Like I said, it's not easy and it's not practical.
is this land even big enough for them to create alternate wetland space? So why would they even be able to get permits?
Money.
All right, did you guys have a chance to read the technical review from Brown Engineering? Doesn't look like he's gonna be here. We're approaching the 8 o'clock mark. So, if you have any questions on it, I will ask you to email them. I'm gonna ask you to email them directly to me, because Jane is gonna be gone for 2 weeks.
Speaking of the devil.
Well, and the other thing, just as a reminder, we should not be sending group emails. We're not,
Right, so if we're sending emails, do the BCC. So that, from what we were told, complies with it. Okay. Mr. Mario.
Sorry, I'm late.
No, not a problem. The floor is yours.
It's expensive, but you can buy it. I'm sorry, I've got to go.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Let me know if you need something, we'll be happy
You
to
got 5
provide
minutes.
it to you. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
See you in the morning.
All
Do
right.
you have any specific questions for me? You want me to go over the latest review?
Yeah. Highlights.
In general, the applicant had attempted to address a handful of our comments, most of them. And a couple of them he pushed back on, which I alluded to in my review. You'll notice at the end, he left 15 or 20 comments was, we need more information. I wanted to note that so it doesn't get lost. It doesn't really require a response back from me to say that, well, okay, we'll wait for your response, but I just wanted to make sure we had some accountability for that. We didn't receive anything for the environmental, and the board should, I would suggest that the board don't move forward with this application until that happens. I was looking at the site plan review, reg 1.2. This is very standard, but it always seems to get passed over. It says the purpose of the site plan review. The purpose of the site plan review is to provide a thorough public review and analysis of certain development projects to protect health, safety, and welfare. It's very important. The board cannot make a decision without knowing what contaminants are in the ground.
That's pretty much what we've been discussing the last 45 minutes.
And you have it in writing. This is a regulation. It's clear as day, and it's one of the biggest roles of the board. And I've been caught on it. And if you guys, I'm not here to help you guys approve or disapprove this. But this is kind of ambiguous. It's
Right.
the board determines what's safe. But
And
without knowing.
I think that our, summing up our last 45 minutes, is our biggest concern is the environmental safety of the site. Correct me if I'm wrong. So I 100% agree we do not move forward until we have that information.
And that's an easy one for you guys to stand by. If they push you for a vote, it's a layup.
so that raises a question that I wasn't clear about, because at least in the RSA and this, it comes across as saying our choices are to approve, to give conditional approval, or to reject. But if what we're saying is we can't make a decision until you provide such
Until
and such
they
information.
provide,
Right,
yeah.
exactly. But insofar as we voted the application as complete, that is, they'd provided all the stuff they were supposed to provide, is this in a way saying it's not complete, or what's
no.
the difference?
We voted that the information that they gave us was complete enough to move forward to start the process.
Okay, yeah,
We have done that. We're in the process.
okay.
And we are now waiting for the additional information, which we have requested multiple times about the environmental safety of the area.
Okay.
I'm not comfortable giving a conditional because
Not
we
on
should be able to have a firm answer on this. It's too important.
Because I looked through your notes on the second page, where they're trying to say it's against the law for the planning board to delay approval of a project due to state permits not having been secured, and I appreciated your annotation pointing to the RSA where it says the planning board may grant conditional approval and so on may include a statement,
It's a
but that we can't refuse to process it solely for the lack of said permits, but,
process it.
yeah,
Does not
We are
say-
processing it.
yeah, we are processing it, so in
We're
other
not
words,
approving
right.
it this time, we are
So in other words,
processing it.
we are not violating the law, am I right? Because we are processing it and we are requiring information that they have not yet provided,
Well,
is that
here-
correct?
In the case of the environmental, that is not up for conditional approval.
Right.
And the reason being, this is different from the alteration of terrain and, the dredging fill, the shoreline permit, all the other, the sewer extension permit, water extension permit, a lot of other state permits. What's not listed on there is, there's a contaminated groundwater, there's a permit, if they find that the groundwater is contaminated, there's a permit for that.
Which they've already told us it is with PFAS.
Okay, well, we're looking for which is good to know.
That was,
There'll be a-
that was in the hazardous materials thing.
Okay. So a permit may or may not be necessary, and what permit is or isn't necessary? See, we don't even know that, without the phase two, we don't know the extent. They have an
Right.
idea, but they don't know the extent of what materials are there and how dangerous they are. So that is not part of a conditional approval. I don't know how you would condition that as a
I
board.
couldn't.
So, my understanding is that Lakes Region Planning Commission paid for the Phase 2,
Okay.
and that it is complete, and they have it, and we don't.
You won't until you get it.
Right.
So what would the response then be, that we are not prepared to vote on this in any way until we have these materials in hand for review?
Yeah, I would make that clear, and then if they stick to their guns, which they shouldn't, because this would be an easy one for the town to defend itself, and say, no, we want you to vote, we're not extending it, then you vote the way that you feel you must.
Yep.
But my expectation is that they will go for another extension.
And that very well may be why they've asked for an extension to the 17th now.
Okay.
I did find some.
That was late this afternoon.
That they're putting-
Asked for the 17th.
They're doing some weird things with the drainage, so they have, according to the HydroCAD model in the stormwater report, they have shown the storage area, the volume of that wetlands that's in there is cut in half. Now, that might be an error with the HydroCAD, or it might be that they're filling in quite a bit. I don't know that they're filling in that much. It's only one comment in my response, but it's a big one for engineering. It's something that was really raising my eyebrows when I saw it. It's like, you guys, what are you doing? There's something funky going on there. I think they're trying to get away with something. I'll keep holding them to it. It might just be modeling. It might be something small, but there's something going on. So the comment that you'll read in there is they have, it's pond P, so what I suggest that they do is, this is wetlands, the state does not allow you to dump stormwater into wetlands and use that wetland as a way to detain water. The way that they are modeling this is they're using Mill Pond as a point of analysis, right? So they're looking at the pre and post on Mill Pond, but the site almost all drains into the wetlands. So what they're doing is they're taking the stormwater, they're putting in the wetlands, and they're saying, well, the wetlands never overflow into Mill Pond, so we're not making any effect to Mill Pond. And I'm like, you guys, you need to have a point of analysis at the wetlands, because you can't
Right.
increase the flow. And they do increase the flow to the wetlands. And the other thing is that is, I know it's a 500-year flood, it is a area of flood storage. So I think it would be very important that we know that they're gonna increase the flow there. We're gonna, depending on the rain events, which, again, they cut it in half, and the peak elevation for that goes down in the post, which makes no sense at all. But I would be cautious on, and I will be, as we move forward, and I can keep hammering them on it and make them show us, that they are not using that wetland for storage.
Right,
Should
they
not
can't
be-
use the wetland for storage. The state won't let them either.
Well, and this is what I don't. This is where I'm battling as a reviewer for Ashland. The Ashland regulations are very weak on stormwater. And when I respond to the applicant, his response is, "We're going to AOT and we'll meet their regulations." Well, I do a lot of AOTs, and I know that they look at it pretty. From a distance.
Okay.
You know, I don't try to sneak anything back. For me, it's more important that it works. But I know that there are. For one example is, I model all the catch basins and drain lines on our stormwater reports, and he's not modeling any of them. And there's a comment in there saying, "Hey, how do I know that this catch basin can handle the flow? You're not modeling it." And his response was, "AOT allows us to do that." And I can't say, well, it's the town regulations.
So they're looking for loopholes in order to bypass safety of our land.
Yeah, we gotta be careful with it. And I'll keep hammering them on it, but the only authority I have is your regulations.
All right. And that is a site plan regulation or a